Did we actually break up?
Yes.
For me, I just couldn't believe that you were so comfortable with the entire world and the entire internet tearing me down in that way.
When I put up that post and I wrote what I wrote, I meant it. Like, my wants and needs don't need to be met.
I was so stressed, I literally had no appetite. I couldn't eat. On top of that, I'm still trying to put on a smile and still be a mom and like be there for my kids and stuff. Like, it was just a lot and hard.
I know.
But yeah, I lost a lot of weight because I couldn't eat.
I was so stressed out. I was hospitalized. Like, my head was pounding.
The glow of a soft amber light warms the room as the cameras roll for Rissa and Quan's brand new podcast episode. A velvet backdrop and cozy set reveal the new vibe of their recently launched podcast channel, where they promised fans they would go deeper, be realer, and touch on things they've never shared before. This isn't just content. This is them, unfiltered. Rissa adjusts her mic gently, her eyes scanning the room before landing on Quan, who gives her a subtle nod. The tension is visible, but so is the closeness. It's not like their usual videos, where they're playful, teasing each other, surrounded by their kids or planning surprise pranks. This one feels different. "Hey, unbreakable family," Rissa starts, her voice calm but holding back emotion. Welcome back to another episode of Real Talk with Rissa and Quan. Today's episode is probably the hardest we've ever filmed. Quan exhales. It is. Because for the first time ever, we're opening up about something we've kept private for a long time. And honestly, we weren't sure we'd ever talk about it publicly. But it's time. He pauses, eyes looking directly into the lens. We broke up. The words echo through the quiet set like a secret finally exposed. Rissa glances at Quan and then back at the mic. Yes, we did. It's been over a year now since we went through that. A lot of you probably suspected it. Some of y'all picked up on the shifts, the lack of content together, how our energy changed. We weren't trying to hide it. We were just hurting. Quan nods slowly. We've always been about real love, y'all. But what we went through nearly broke us for good. And for a while, we were done. The air thickens with emotion. Rissa swallows hard and leans in. We didn't speak on it before because we were still processing. It wasn't a break for attention. It wasn't a publicity thing. This was real life. There were tears, sleepless nights, confusion. It felt like the end of everything we built together. It had started gradually. As they share, fans listening can feel the honesty in every word. The relationship that once seemed so perfect from the outside had become strained on the inside. Not because of lack of love, but because of how life, stress, fame, and miscommunication can chip away at even the strongest bonds. We were so caught up in the brand, the business, the expectations, Quan shares. We were managing everything, parenthood, content creation, partnerships, trying to be present for the kids. And somewhere in all of that, we stopped being present for each other. Rissa adds, I started feeling like I was losing myself. Like I was Rissa the mom, Rissa the influencer, Rissa from Rissa and Quan, but not just Rissa, the woman. And that made me feel alone, even when we were in the same room. There were fights, some over small things, others over deeper issues they hadn't addressed for years. Feelings got buried, pride got in the way. And when two people stop listening to each other, even love can get lost in the noise. Quan remembers the night he walked out. We were yelling. I was tired. She was crying. I couldn't take it anymore. I just needed air. But instead of saying that, I slammed the door and left. Rissa remembers the sound of that door too well. I sat in our bedroom, holding Shine in my arms, and I felt like everything was shattering. Not just the relationship, but the family, our foundation, everything. Days passed, then weeks. They lived separately. Rissa stayed with the kids. Quan moved into a short-term place across town, and for the first time since they met, they weren't Rissa and Quan. They were just Rissa and Quan. It felt like a breakup, but it also felt like a death, Rissa says. The death of a version of us that we thought would last forever. Behind the scenes, they continued to co-parent. They never let their issues affect the kids. They stayed mature for Shine and Savior, but emotionally they were distant. Conversations were limited to schedules and needs. No more late-night talks. No more random hugs. Just silence. We were living parallel lives, Quan admits. And during that time I started asking myself, did I lose the love of my life over my own stubbornness? Rissa started therapy. She journaled. She cried. She prayed. I wanted to hate him, but I couldn't. I still loved him. And that's what made it so painful. One day, Quan stumbled across an old video on their channel, the one where they revealed they were pregnant with Shine. He watched it in silence, tears falling. That was when I knew. I had to fight for us. Not the YouTube version. Not the Instagram version. The real us. It took months. Not days. Not a couple of cute texts. Real, hard work. They both started therapy. Separately, then together. They revisited the traumas they'd been avoiding. The childhood wounds. The emotional habits. The communication breakdowns. It wasn't a fairy tale, Rissa says. It was ugly sometimes. We argued during sessions. We shut down. But the difference was, we kept showing up. Quan admits, I had to learn that love isn't enough if you're not willing to change for the better. I had to stop defending myself and start listening. Rissa adds, and I had to stop expecting him to just know how I felt. I had to speak up. Not with anger, but with vulnerability. That's how healing started. They slowly started seeing each other again, not just physically, but emotionally. There were date nights, long walks, FaceTime calls that turned into 3 a.m. heart-to-hearts. The bond was still there, but it was different now. Wiser, stronger. Not built on performance, but on purpose. Now, sitting side by side in front of the podcast mic, Rissa and Quan reflect with gratitude and a little disbelief that they made it through. Sometimes, Quan says with a soft smile, you have to lose something to realize how deeply you value it. We found each other again, Rissa whispers, reaching for his hand. But we had to find ourselves first. They both acknowledge that not every couple survives that kind of rift, and they don't glamorize the pain. They're open about the nights they cried apart, the regrets they carry, and the work they're still doing. This podcast is our new beginning, Rissa says. A space where we can be real, vulnerable, and hopefully inspire others who think love is supposed to be perfect all the time. Quan adds, because it's not. Love is messy and beautiful and worth fighting for. Before closing the episode, they pause, eyes full of emotion, and thank their loyal fans. To everyone who stuck around, even when things felt off, we love you, Rissa says. We know you had questions, and now we're ready to answer them. Quan leans in toward the camera. For those of you who want the full story, the details we haven't shared yet, the unfiltered letters we wrote to each other during the breakup, the audio diaries, everything, we've created a private series. Rissa continues. We've put together an exclusive set of episodes, available only to our subscribers. It's our most raw and honest content ever. No ads, no filters, just us. To access it, Quan explains, you'll need to join our premium podcast tier. It's not about the money. It's about protecting the space for those who truly want to walk this journey with us. Rissa smiles. We promise it'll be worth it. Because if you've ever loved someone and thought it was over, this might give you hope. The episode ends with a soft fade out as music begins to play in the background. Rissa and Quan sit close, still holding hands, surrounded not by perfection, but by peace. Love isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet resilience. And this is just the beginning.